At 81 years old, Sam Elliott stands in the Texas heat, sweat dripping down his face, barely able to catch his breath. This is the same man whose voice once sold millions of dollars in truck commercials. The same cowboy who graced movie screens for over 5 decades. But now, something has changed. The roles have dried up. The money isn't what it used to be. And the legendary actor finds himself taking work that leaves him collapsing from exhaustion just to make ends meet. What happened to one of Hollywood's most iconic figures? How did the man with the famous mustache and that unforgettable voice go from the top of his game to struggling in his final years? Today, we're diving deep into the real story of Sam Elliott, and what we found will shock you. Sam Elliott's story starts long before Hollywood ever knew his name. He was born on a hot summer morning in Sacramento, California, on August 9, 1944. It was just before dawn, exactly 3:47 in the morning, when baby Samuel Pack Elliott came into this world at Sutter Memorial Hospital. He was a healthy baby boy, weighing in at 8 pounds and 2 ounces. His mother, Glendine, had been a champion diver back in Texas, winning state titles 3 years straight. She was fearless, jumping off platforms 10 meters high when she was just a teenager. His father, Henry, worked for the government tracking dangerous animals like wolves and mountain lions across the wild lands of Northern California. The Elliott family had deep Texas roots, going all the way back to a field surgeon who treated wounded soldiers in battles that shaped the state's history. But by the time Sam was born, his family had moved west to California, following his father's work. And that work meant constant moving. From the time Sam was just 2 years old until he turned 8, his family moved to 7 different towns. They never stayed anywhere long enough for Sam to put down real roots. 6 months here, 14 months there, always packing up and starting over. Sam went to 4 different elementary schools, and every time he started making friends, it was time to move again. But there were moments that shaped who Sam would become. His father would sometimes take him along on horseback rides through the mountains. When Sam was just 4 years old, he rode strapped into a special saddle on a horse named Dusty for 12 hours at a time. By age 6, the young boy could identify animal tracks and recognize bird calls better than most adults. One summer day, when Sam was 6, something happened that he would never forget. High up in the mountains near Lake Tahoe, a massive black bear, weighing around 400 pounds, crossed their path. Sam's father immediately raised his rifle and fired warning shots into the air. For 47 long minutes, Sam sat completely frozen in his saddle, not moving a muscle, while his father kept that bear at bay. The bear finally turned and walked away, and Sam had learned something valuable. He learned how to stay calm when everything inside you is screaming with fear. At home, Sam's mother was just as intense as his father. She had been an athlete, and she raised Sam like he was training for the Olympics. Every single morning, Sam had to wake up at 5:30 and do 50 push-ups before breakfast. Then he would run 2 miles around the local park. When he turned 5, his mother started taking him to the public pool, where she timed him swimming lap after lap. She made him swim 500 meters every single day, and she kept a notebook where she wrote down his times. Everything in their house ran on a strict schedule. Sam had 8 minutes to eat breakfast, 45 minutes to finish his homework. Even brushing his teeth had a time limit of exactly 3 minutes. If Sam didn't follow the rules, the punishment was physical. He would have to do 100 jumping jacks or 200 sit-ups. By the time Sam was 8 years old, he could swim 1,000 meters without stopping once. Looking back, you might think this harsh upbringing would have broken Sam's spirit. But it did the opposite. It built something strong inside him. That discipline, that ability to push through discomfort and keep going, would become the foundation of everything Sam achieved later in life. In 6th grade, Sam discovered he was fast, really fast. He set a school record running the 100-yard dash in just over 11 seconds. He could jump over 18 feet in the long jump. Teachers noticed him. But Sam also discovered something else that year: acting. When the lead in the school play broke his leg, Sam was asked to step in at the last minute. He learned 47 lines overnight and performed in front of over 300 parents. When the play ended, the entire audience stood up and clapped. His drama teacher wrote in her notes that Sam had unusual stage presence for someone his age. But Sam's parents weren't impressed. His father wanted him to work for the government like he did. His mother thought he should focus on being an athlete. Neither of them saw acting as a real future. Then, everything changed. When Sam was 13, his father got promoted and the family moved to Portland, Oregon. He hated it there. The weather was gray and gloomy. He felt disconnected from the wide-open spaces and sunshine he had grown up with in California. He missed his extended family back in Texas. That sense of isolation, that feeling of being a stranger in a new place, started to shape the types of characters Sam would later play. The loner, the drifter, the man who doesn't quite fit in anywhere. At his new high school, Sam ran track and football. He even won awards for singing and was voted best personality in his class. When he played the lead in a school production, that deep voice of his filled the entire auditorium. People listened when Sam spoke. After graduating, in 1962, Sam had dreams of running track at the University of Oregon. He wanted to be part of their legendary program, but when he enrolled that fall as a double major in English and psychology, he quickly realized his heart wasn't in it. Sam later admitted he wasn't cut out for academic life. His grades collapsed. After just 2 terms, the university kicked him out. He had been spending more time watching movies than studying. Hollywood was calling to him even though it made absolutely no sense to anyone around him. In 1963, Sam transferred to a smaller college in Vancouver, Washington. That's where everything clicked. He got involved in the theater program and played a lead role in the musical Guys and Dolls. A local newspaper critic saw the show and wrote that Sam Elliot should pursue acting professionally. That one sentence changed Sam's entire life. For the first time, someone outside his family told him he had real talent. He finished a 2-year associate degree, the first time he had ever completed anything in higher education. Feeling encouraged, Sam went back to the University of Oregon to try again. He even joined a fraternity. But then, tragedy struck hard and fast. His father died of a heart attack. He was only 54 years old. It happened suddenly in their living room. Sam was just 18. The loss devastated him. Years later, Sam said it killed something inside him. The complicating thing was that his father had never believed in Sam's dreams of becoming an actor.
Hollywood dreams. Henry Elliot wanted his son to wear a uniform or work for the government, something stable and respectable. Now the man who had stood in the way of those dreams was gone. Sam dropped out of school for good. Acting wasn't just a dream anymore. It became his plan, his purpose, the thing he had to do. In 1967, at age 23, Sam packed everything he owned and moved to Los Angeles with $300 in his pocket. He had no connections, no agent, no plan beyond making it happen. He took a job working construction, hanging steel beams on skyscrapers in downtown Los Angeles for 12-hour shifts. The work was brutal. His hands got torn up. He was covered in cement dust every day. He made $2.15 an hour and lived in a cheap apartment that was infested with roaches. But every night after those exhausting construction shifts, Sam went to acting classes at the Pasadena Playhouse. Sometimes he was so tired that he fell asleep during scenes. His roommate later said that Sam cried himself to sleep more than once, wondering if his father had been right all along. Maybe Hollywood was just a foolish dream. Maybe he should have listened and gotten a real job. But Sam didn't quit. The turning point came in 1968 when Sam joined the California Air National Guard. Now, Sam wasn't joining to become a pilot or to make the military his career. He joined because of who else was there. The Guard was full of stuntmen, camera operators, and people who worked in the film industry. His commanding officer was a former actor who started introducing Sam to people in the business. It was there that Sam met Tommy Lee Jones, who became a close friend. Between his Guard duties, Sam kept studying acting and living off a tiny military paycheck of $63 a month, but now he had his foot in the door. Sam's first appearance on film happened in 1967 in a movie called The Way West. He had one line, just one, and he forgot it 3 times while they were filming. The legendary Kirk Douglas was in the movie and pulled Sam aside afterward. Kirk told him he had the right look, but needed to learn his lines. Sam got paid $55 for that role, and his face appears on screen for exactly 18 seconds. The movie was a disaster at the box office, losing almost $3 million. But Sam kept that call sheet from the production anyway. For 8 months after that, Sam couldn't get another acting job. He went back to construction work. Then, in 1969, he landed a small role on the TV show Gunsmoke. He played a ranch hand with 4 lines. That year, Sam auditioned for 347 different roles. He kept what he called a rejection diary, writing down every single time someone said no. Another show called Bonanza told him to shave his mustache if he wanted to work. Sam refused. That mustache would become his signature look. He made $350 for that one episode of Gunsmoke. The star of the show, James Arness, barely acknowledged him. They even cut Sam's best scene from the episode. But it aired on national television, and that was enough. Sam was on his way. In 1972, Sam got his first starring role in a horror movie called Frogs. It was about killer amphibians attacking people. The movie paid him $7,500, which seemed like a fortune at the time. But making the movie nearly broke him. He got bitten by a poisonous snake during filming. He used his own clothes for the costume because the production was so cheap. He had to drive himself to the set every day. When the movie came out, critics absolutely destroyed it. The famous critic Roger Ebert said Sam's acting was wooden beyond belief. The movie only made about $850,000. Right after that, Sam's agent dropped him. At age 28, Sam Elliot was humiliated, broke, and ready to quit. The only person who still believed in him was his girlfriend, Catherine. In 1969, something incredible happened that Sam wouldn't even know about for years. He appeared for less than a minute as an extra in the classic Western Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It was a nothing role, totally uncredited, easy to miss. But Catherine Ross, who would eventually become his wife, was also filming her scenes for that same movie on the same studio lot during the exact same week. On one particular day, both Sam and Catherine had lunch at the studio cafeteria, sitting just 20 feet apart from each other. They didn't speak, they didn't meet. They had no idea their lives would eventually intertwine. The crazy part is that Sam was originally supposed to have a scene with Catherine's character, but it got cut during editing. If that scene had stayed in the movie, they might have met 9 years earlier. Sam later called it fate's most expensive joke. From 1970 to 1971, Sam appeared in several episodes of a show called The Mod Squad, playing a deputy. He was making $750 per episode, which was decent money at the time. But Sam quickly realized he was getting typecast. Over 6 months, he received 23 offers to play lawmen and deputies. Casting directors were specifically asking for the Sam Elliot type. Then Universal Studios made him a big offer. They wanted to sign him to a 3-year contract worth $45,000 to keep playing similar roles on different TV shows. It would have been financial security, a steady paycheck, every struggling actor dreams of. Sam turned it down. Instead, he took a construction job in Malibu, making $200 a week. He told a reporter he'd rather pour concrete than play another deputy who just says, "Yes, Sheriff," for the rest of his career. That decision almost emptied his bank account, but it saved his future as an actor. Everything changed for Sam in 1976 with a movie called Lifeguard. Sam was 32, the same age as the character he played. The role required him to be in incredible physical shape, so Sam worked out 4 hours every day for 3 months before filming started. The movie was about a man facing the reality of getting older and wondering if he had made the right choices in life. Sam's performance was raw and real in a way people hadn't seen him from before. There's one scene where his character just stares at his own weathered hands, and Sam had gone completely off script. It happened on the 23rd take of what was supposed to be a simple dialogue scene. Audiences weren't expecting such emotional depth from a guy known for playing cowboys. There's even a moment where Sam's character breaks down crying while applying sunscreen that caught everyone off guard. The movie only made about $3 million at the box office. But right after that, Sam's agent dropped him. At age 28, Sam Elliot was humiliated, broke, and ready to quit. The only person who still believed in him was his girlfriend, Catherine. In 1978, Sam's voice opened up a completely new opportunity. In 1978, Coors Beer hired him to do voiceover work for their Silver Bullet campaign. They paid him $50,000 for a single 30-second commercial. Back then, the average American house cost less than that. Over 14 months, Sam made around $650,000 from doing beer commercials. That was more money than everything he had earned in his entire acting career up to that point. He would go to a studio in Denver and usually nail the recording in just one take. Coors was so impressed, they offered him a full-time job. They wanted to pay him $75,000 a year to move to Colorado and be their permanent spokesman. Sam actually toured their brewery and looked at houses in the area. He came incredibly close to accepting. Later, he admitted he was so broke and tired of struggling that a steady paycheck at a beer company seemed like heaven. But Sam stayed in Hollywood, and those commercials turned his voice into something that millions of Americans recognized. That same year, Sam got cast in a horror movie called The Legacy that was filmed in England. He stayed completely in character for the entire 6-week shoot, even during breaks and lunch. He would question crew members about whether the set was haunted and refused to drop his paranoid persona. During one stunt where his character was supposed to injure his hand, Sam actually used a real knife and cut his own palm. His co-star was Catherine Ross, and at first she thought Sam was taking things too far. But one night, he showed up at her hotel room at 2 a.m. talking about needing to protect her from a curse. That's when Catherine saw it wasn't just method acting, it was dedication. And that's when their real relationship began. In 1984, Sam and Catherine were on their honeymoon in Hawaii when a director called about a role in a movie called Mask. Catherine told Sam to take it. The part was originally written as a generic biker character, but Sam worked with the director to make it deeper and more complex. To prepare, Sam spent 3 days with actual Hells Angels members in Oakland, California. The risk paid off. He got his first Golden Globe nomination and earned $300,000, which let him and Catherine buy a ranch in Malibu. When Sam married Catherine in May 1984, the timing was messy. She was still dealing with a difficult divorce from her previous husband, who was demanding $50,000 a month and making accusations in the press. The tabloids went crazy with the story. The National Enquirer was paying people for dirt on Catherine and Sam, so they had to hire private security for their wedding. Only 12 guests attended. They tried to keep their honeymoon a secret, but photographers found them 3 days later.
Catherine's divorce wasn't actually finalized until August, which technically made their marriage legally questionable for a few months. The stress of it all caused Sam to lose 15 pounds. He even considered quitting acting altogether. Their daughter, Cleo, was born on September 17, 1984, weighing 7 pounds and 3 ounces. Sam refused to sell any baby photos to magazines, even when they offered him $50,000. In 1986, their nanny betrayed them by selling private family photos to tabloids for $10,000. The betrayal devastated Sam and Catherine. Sam sued, installed a $75,000 security system, and started paying his staff 50% more just to ensure loyalty. Cleo didn't appear in public until she was 16 years old. Sam later admitted he became paranoid and overly protective after that betrayal. Years passed, and Sam kept working steadily, but he wasn't getting the recognition he deserved. Then, in 2015, when Sam was 71, he appeared in the final season of a TV show called Justified. He played a strange avocado farmer who was secretly running a marijuana operation. Sam wanted to make it as realistic as possible and requested real plants during rehearsal. One day, a crew member who didn't know the full story saw the plants on set and actually called the police, thinking something illegal was happening. That caused quite a scene. Sam's role only lasted 4 episodes, but each one pulled in almost 3 million viewers. It was his most-watched TV work in years. His quiet, menacing performance started spreading on social media, and critics called his acting understated but terrifying. That role reminded Hollywood that Sam could still bring something special to the screen. Netflix took notice. In 2016, when Sam was 72, he became the lead on a Netflix comedy series called The Ranch, playing a tough old cowboy dad alongside Ashton Kutcher. It was Sam's first starring role in a comedy, and the show ran for 80 episodes over 4 years. Sam made around $150,000 per episode, which added up to about $12 million total. Behind the scenes, things weren't always smooth. Sam liked to improvise rough jokes and curse words, while Ashton preferred sticking to the script. Sam later admitted he purposely messed with Ashton during scenes. Despite the tension, the show pulled in over 3 million viewers per episode and became Netflix's longest-running sitcom. In 2017, Sam got a nomination for his work, though he later said the job felt more exhausting than fulfilling. That same year, something deeply personal came out. Sam starred in a movie called The Hero, playing a fading Western movie star who gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and tries to reconnect with his estranged daughter. The role hit home for Sam. Just a year before filming, in March 2016, Sam had to have emergency surgery for a serious stomach issue. Doctors feared it might be cancer. That health scare inspired the director to write this role specifically for Sam. Catherine Ross played his ex-wife in the film, and the story felt real because Sam and Catherine had actually been going through a rough patch in their marriage around that time. They had briefly separated in 2015. The movie had a tiny budget of just over $1 million, but made $4 million at the box office and earned Sam an award nomination. Critics said he hadn't been this emotionally honest in a performance since Mask back in 1985. Then, in 2022, Sam did something that shocked everyone and damaged his reputation. On a popular podcast, he completely tore apart an Oscar-winning film called The Power of the Dog. Sam was 77 years old and didn't hold back. He called the movie a piece of garbage and mocked the way the cowboys looked, especially criticizing the lead actor, Benedict Cumberbatch, for wearing leather chaps. He made fun of scenes in the movie and used harsh language to describe them. People were immediately outraged. Organizations that support the LGBTQ community condemned his words. Over 50,000 people signed an online petition asking studios to stop hiring Sam Elliot. On April 10, 2022, Sam broke down crying during a public apology. He said he was going to therapy and admitted his comments came from outdated ideas about masculinity. The film's director responded to his criticism but handled it with grace. The controversy severely damaged Sam's reputation and cost him potential work. But before that controversy, Sam had finally gotten the respect he had waited his entire career to receive. In 2018, at age 74, Sam earned his first Oscar nomination for the movie A Star is Born. He played Bobby Maine, the older brother and manager of Bradley Cooper's character, a fading rock star struggling with addiction. One of the most powerful scenes in the movie almost didn't happen. Sam's voice had completely given out during filming, and he told Bradley he couldn't do the scene. After resting for 3 days, Sam pushed through and nailed it in one take. That role earned him nominations for an Oscar, a Screen Actors Award Guild, and a BAFTA. He made $700,000 for the film and came within 12 votes of winning the Oscar, losing to Mahershala Ali for a different movie. A Star is Born made $400 million worldwide and became the biggest box office success of Sam's entire career. When the Yellowstone prequel series called 1883 came around in 2021, Sam was 77 years old. He played Shea Brennan, a broken man leading a wagon train of settlers through dangerous territory. To prepare for the role, Sam lost 20 pounds and pulled up painful memories of losing his father when he was 18. That grief poured out in every scene. Sam even had panic attacks while filming his character's final scene in Montana. It took 2 days and 3 attempts to get through it. When the finale aired in late 2021, it drew nearly 5 million viewers. In 2023, Sam won a Screen Actors Guild Award for the performance. When the pandemic hit in 2020, Sam and Catherine stayed isolated on their Malibu ranch for 14 months. During that time, Sam started writing his memoir by hand. He filled over 400 pages. As he wrote, he kept coming back to regrets, especially from 1992, when he turned down a role in the movie Unforgiven. That role ended up winning an Oscar for the actor who took it instead. Sam figured he had passed on 47 major roles during his career, either because of bad timing or creative disagreements with directors. While in lockdown, Sam got sick with a persistent cough and had to go to the hospital in May 2020. It wasn't the virus, but it scared him. By the end of 2021, Sam stopped writing his memoir, saying it was too depressing to finish. In 2025, at 80 years old, Sam took on another physically demanding role. He played the father of Billy Bob Thornton's character in the second season of a show called Landman. They filmed in the brutal Texas heat, and Sam insisted on doing his own stunts despite his age. On July 12th, he collapsed from dehydration during a 6-hour shoot when temperatures hit 107 degrees. He needed IV fluids, and production had to shut down for 2 days. Even after that scary incident, Sam refused to rest in an air-conditioned trailer. He stayed out in the heat to stay in character. He earned $350,000 per episode for the 8-episode run that started airing in January 2026. In 2024, Sam returned as the voice of Dodge Ram trucks, reviving a partnership that started back in 2010. The new contract paid him $2 million a year. During an interview that August, Sam casually mentioned crashing a $150,000 truck during a test drive back in 2019. He had rolled it twice at 65 miles per hour but walked away without any injuries. Dodge almost ended their partnership over the crash but changed their minds, deciding it made Sam seem more authentic. Despite decades of work and contributions to cinema, Sam has faced repeated rejection from the Hollywood establishment. When he applied for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2024 for the 3rd time, he was denied again. The committee said he didn't have enough recent film work. Sam had already applied in 2016 and 2019 and been rejected both times. A leaked email from 2024 showed Sam writing that he felt ignored for doing westerns instead of superhero movies. He was frustrated that actors with much less experience were getting stars while he kept being overlooked. At 80, he was finally inducted into the Western Heritage Museum Hall of Fame in September 2024, recognition from the Western community that had always appreciated his work. Rumors about Sam's health have been spreading for years. Some people claim he has a serious brain disease, but in 2025, Sam addressed these rumors directly. He stated clearly that he doesn't have any kind of neurological condition. The speculation probably started after his performance in The Hero, when people thought his acting seemed too realistic. His voice still sounds the same after all these years, that distinctive raspy tone. He does tilt his head sometimes and walks with a slight limp, but that's natural aging and an old injury where he tripped over a toy and broke his toe. That limp made people assume something more serious was wrong, but doctors have confirmed he's healthy and still active for his age. In 2025, Sam and Catherine celebrated 41 years of marriage. He was 40 and she was 44 when they married in 1984. Before Sam, Catherine had been through 4 divorces. Their marriage nearly fell apart during a difficult period, but instead of walking away, they chose to work through their problems. Sam has said that staying together is a choice you have to keep making every single day, even when things get rough. When their daughter Cleo went through her own struggles, Sam and Catherine chose to prioritize family over their public image. That commitment is what has kept them strong through decades of challenges. So where does Sam Elliot stand today at 81 years old? The truth is complicated. He hasn't lost his entire fortune, but his career isn't what it once was. The controversy over his comments about the power of the dog cost him work and damaged relationships in Hollywood. He's still taking roles, but they're fewer and farther between. The work he is getting is physically demanding, almost punishingly so for a man his age. Collapsing from heat exhaustion on a TV set at 80 years old isn't the victory lap most actors dream of. The truck commercials provide steady income, but they're not the creative fulfillment Sam has always sought. He's been denied the Hollywood Walk of Fame star 3 times, a symbolic rejection that stings after 50 years in the business. The memoir he started writing during the pandemic remains unfinished, sitting at over 400 pages of memories he found too depressing to complete. But here's what the numbers and the controversies and the setbacks can't capture. Sam Elliot has lived the exact life he chose. When he was 28 and humiliated after Frogs flopped, he could have quit. When Universal offered him $45,000 to play the same type of character over and over, he could have taken the easy money. When Coors wanted to pay him $75,000 a year to move to Colorado and forget about acting, he could have walked away from Hollywood forever. He didn't. At every crossroads, Sam chose the harder path. He chose artistic integrity over financial security. He chose to be uncomfortable rather than comfortable. He chose to keep pushing even when logic said to stop. That's not the story of a man who lost everything. That's the story of a man who chose what mattered most to him and stuck with it no matter what. Sam Elliot at 81 is still Sam Elliot, still working, still choosing roles that challenge him physically and emotionally, still married to the woman he fell in love with over 40 years ago, still living on that Malibu ranch, still refusing to compromise on the things he believes in, even when those beliefs get him in trouble. Yes, he made a terrible mistake with his comments about the power of the dog. Yes, he's had to take roles that push his aging body to dangerous limits. Yes, the recognition he deserves has often been withheld, but he's still here. Still that same kid who sat frozen on a horse for 47 minutes while his father held off a black bear. Still that teenager who learned lines overnight to fill in for an injured actor. Still that young man who turned down guaranteed money to pour concrete rather than sell out. Still that actor who cut his own hand with a real knife because the scene required it. The toughness isn't an act. The determination isn't for show. It's who Sam Elliot has always been. The lesson in Sam Elliot's story isn't about fortune or fame or getting everything you deserve. It's about the relentless pursuit of what you believe in, even when the world tells you to stop. It's about making the hard choice over and over again, decade after decade. It's about staying true to yourself when compromise would be so much easier. Sam Elliot's career is a masterclass in persistence. Not the kind of persistence that gets you a mansion and awards and universal acclamation. The kind that leaves you standing in the Texas heat at 80, collapsing from exhaustion, but still refusing to quit. That's the real Sam Elliott, not the voice that sells trucks, not the mustache or the swagger or the cowboy image. The man who simply will not stop being himself no matter what it costs him. If you found Sam Elliott's incredible journey inspiring, make sure to hit that like button right now. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear a story about never giving up on your dreams, no matter how old you get or how many times life knocks you down. And subscribe to our channel so you never miss another deep dive into the real stories behind Hollywood's biggest legends. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to keep fighting for what you believe in.